Hey, so in this video, you are going to discover how to buy an online business and how you can do so profitably and how you can do this safely so you can purchase a business that will work for you and hopefully you'll be able to run it well so it will bring you more money and you'll reach your goals that you're looking to reach. And we're going to have a session of questions and answers today with me, Shlomo. Shlomo helps people buy online businesses. He's in this sphere for a while, and I'm going to ask him some questions today. We're going to have a little discussion about buying an online business. Myself, I'm an online businessman. I'm an Amazon seller and a blogger. So I've been in this sphere also for many, many years, and I love it. So yeah, Shlomo, can you introduce yourself, man? And we're going to dive into the questions and have some fun.
Sounds good, Vava. Thank you so much for inviting. What can I say? So really, I'm an entrepreneur for the past 20 years or so, almost 20 years. At the past I'd say more than 4 or 5 years, I've been into the online investing business. So basically buying businesses for profit. If you heard the term flipping websites, that's the term that many people use. And that's became a very lucrative business for me and for others. You can see that all around. So my online experience is from those 19, 20 years. And overall, it all came together to buying those businesses and going into that industry.
All right, man. I'm going to have also your contacts in the description in case people want to talk to you. Also your newsletter that can help people get emails that explain how to do that business acquisition thing. So, and of course, if people also would love to get your consulting on this, we're going to have maybe your social network or something, your LinkedIn. We'll see what works better, but we'll have it in the description for our viewers. Yeah, man, nice to hear that you're in this space for a while, and can I ask you some questions, man? Let's see how it goes.
Let's go with the flow.
Let's go. Yeah, so what drew you towards investing in the field of SaaS or SaaS and content sites, right? As opposed to other types of online businesses? Why like SaaS? Why content sites? You do that mostly, right? So why these types of sites?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Yeah.
So basically, you can compare it into two different things. One is traditional investments, and these I've been doing for many years. And the truth is that SaaS and content websites are more lucrative. They have their own risks there. I'm not saying that it's all fully safe, but like everything in life and in business, that's the way it is in investments. Specifically about content websites and SaaS. So if we're comparing these to online businesses, let's say you're a freelancer and you have some work that you do for clients, if you're working online, giving your time for money. While if you're buying the assets, if you're buying these, which are very lucrative. The cash flow is about 30% a year, 25 to 30% a year. This is something that you can basically buy and grow. So there is the cash flow that you're getting, some of it you're putting back into the business. However, there is also an increase in valuation with these kind of businesses. And this is versus, I'm selling 1 hour of my time or X amount of money and so on and so forth. So basically you're getting leverage here over your time.
Yeah, man. I have a series of like content website and basically those content like YouTube channels, you can say, yeah, it's I like at least in my case, I see very high ROI on the content that we create based on like versus the output we're getting in terms of money. And I'm only an affiliate. I have like affiliate websites and basically my YouTube channel is fully affiliate marketing. So yeah, it's really nice. So I understand why you enjoy the sphere.
Rafa, I must say something about this.
Yes.
So you didn't ask about it, but when I'm talking about SaaS and content websites, you can also zoom out to any digital assets. And definitely there are markets also for YouTube channels, and you can go and buy those and flip those or do something with them or connect them to your business. So that's the wider picture of that.
Pretty cool. All right, man. So how did you get started with buying and investing in online businesses, especially in these, again, SaaS and content sites? Like, how did you get started?
How did I get started? I basically after being so many years in internet marketing, and I've seen the markets of buying online businesses way back in the days. However, they were seemed so very sketchy, and you don't know what to look at. And Flippa back in the days was the wild, wild west. It's still more the Wild Wild West, by the way, than other platforms, but let's put it aside for now. But it's much, much better. Anyway, bringing all the knowledge and the investing part, and I said, how about I'm going to go in and try it. Of course, I want a 25, 30% return on my asset. So let's go and try that. And it took me about 4 or 5 months of research until I figured what to buy. During that time, I think about 6 months afterwards, so a total of 6 months, I managed to buy my first asset, my first digital asset, which I didn't build from scratch. So something already has traffic, already has cash flow. You see the growth potential there. You have a plan of what you want to do next with it and grow it. That was the idea. But it took a while. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of listings and deals, and you're doing due diligence, and eventually you jump in the water and do that. Must say you're still afraid, but it's something that you mitigate, like in every business, and you say, okay, I've done my work. It seems like a good thing. I will jump in and buy that. And yes, there is a chance that I'm wrong with something, but my philosophy with this is that even if I'm wrong, I already learned something and I'll be better at the next acquisition. And this is what I'm applying every time that I'm looking into business. Okay, that was wrong. Let's apply that on the next one and the next one. That's the idea. But this doubt, we must put it on the table, is always there, but you want to mitigate and make it as small as possible. But of course, the business is lucrative and it's worth the risk, in my opinion.
I understand. I mean, it kind of brings me to, you kind of answered partially the next question I wanted to ask, is like what are the key indicators that you look for when evaluating a potential investment in a SaaS or a content website? Like, what are the key indicators? Maybe give us a few, man, that you think. You did mention them now, some of them, but like.
So I'd say the first one, and it's not related to business. It's more of, I learned that it's more of a passion thing. So find something that niche or something that you love to do, and then you grow from there. It will help you to maintain the business better and be more on it versus shoot and forget, and it will decline. Some digital assets or content websites or SaaS makes sense to buy even without that. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it will be better if you find something that you love. Then you're getting into the actual details of the digital asset. So I would look, of course, at the acquisition size. So it will be in my budget. I would look at trend of the traffic and the trend of the profits. So you would want to get a minimum of a stable traffic website. Of course, with all the Google updates coming, not coming, that were. So a lot of websites have been hit. So if a website or a SaaS is still stable, that's a good sign. But the better part is if you have something which still increases in traffic and it's on an uptrend. And I just released a video about a week ago going into one of these marketplaces and showing what are the trends and what you should look at. It's really, I just looked at a few dozen listing, and there are about 3 or 4 there that are uptrending. So basically you're filtering pretty fast with those, but there's still a lot of due diligence to go afterwards to see that the business you're buying is actually the one that you're buying, and what they're saying is actually correct. But look at the trend, look at how much money it makes every month. And the one more important thing is a growth plan for that business. It's not enough in 2023 to buy a website and say, yeah, I'm going just to add more content and buy links. Okay, there should be another edge or something that will be more than just this. This is the bare minimum. Now go ahead and do more things. If you have another business that is related to what you bought, that's amazing, because then you can funnel it to your own business. So basically you're joining the two forces together. So 1 + 1 = 3. So all these kind of things are on your grand plan, on your master plan for growing that asset. And you need that, and you need to think about that when you're approaching your next year.
Yeah, interesting. Sounds like there's a lot of strategy. Like you gotta, you as you said, you don't just buy a working asset, which is good, of course, which is maybe a profitable asset and it's growing in traffic, but also how do you build it up? Like, how do you scale it more than the bare minimum of, as you said, buying links or just adding more content, right? Maybe you want to add a group and a community to that. Or maybe if you have, I think Neil Patel, Neil Patel, I think they bought Uber Suggest. So, they buy a website and they funnel it to their next website or to the main one. They interlink it all together. So there's more strategy. By the way, nice book I'm reading now. It's called 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene. I
Okay,
would recommend Robert Greene's books. And
thank
yeah,
you.
strategy is like looking way out of the picture of the, if I understand you correctly, like of the website that you bought, which is of course important, but like how do you like make it grow more than just
Mhm.
the basics? Because it's 2023, right? And things are all the time are
You know,
changing and all that, but or
a little
whatnot.
bit about
Yeah.
the strategy. I mean, the strategy can even be pretty simple in 2023, which is just be real. Okay, it's a cliche, but
Uh-huh.
I know a few people actually that make a lot of money. I'm talking about the $50,000, $100,000 mark a month for, a travel blog, but she's not, using AI and all that. She's using maybe to help her write, but she
Yeah.
has the experiences. She takes the pictures. So Google knows that she's real, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what ranks her
Mm.
up. And this is going back to what I said about having a passion. This is hers. This is
Mhm.
what she wants, and she's a mother with a few kids, and it's not like, but she's
Mhm.
working on it. But she loves every moment of that. So
Yeah.
choosing a passion would definitely help. But even if it's something which is you don't do it the every day, but you have the grand plan of how to grow it, that's great. But you need to have that.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, brings me to the next question. Then what are the mistakes that people do when they are evaluating a deal for website? So we talked about maybe the good things, right? And what to look at, but what
Mhm.
mistakes people do, they're looking at, and that they might do a mistake in evaluation of an online business. So what are these that you're seeing, or you made some yourself, maybe, that also happens, right?
You might overvalue what you're buying, and basically
Mhm.
the valuation of the business is different. With that first website I mentioned, so I spoke with somebody who told
Yeah.
me that I overpaid 15%. Oh yeah, but my mindset back then was
Mhm.
that I looked at so many deals. Okay, you
Mhm.
really want to go and buy something, and I
Yeah.
lost one or two going on the way because I didn't wire the money fast enough. Actually, that happened 2 times, and then you lost. Okay, you lost the business. So I was urged to buy that business as fast as possible and getting ready and hit that button for wiring the money and hope for the best.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I bought that business. Within a few hours, it was published. That was specifically with Empire Flippers. Every
Mhm.
Monday, 5 o'clock, they publish their new list. I'm going into that list. I'm going through the relevant ones and start evaluating them one by one by one by one, all the relevant ones for my budget. And eventually I chose that. You click unlock, you look at the docs, and I had to move on.
Mhm.
This is what I felt at the time. Now, of course, if I had more experience, if I was in a different mindset saying, no, that's still okay, I would have paid
Mm.
less. So I've learned my lesson. I'm not running into deals as like crazy like it used to be. On the other hand, you still need to be sometimes diligent and fast enough because things move.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to learn that balance. You need to learn about that balance between those two things. It's very important.
Because you
And there are
might find a
always more deals.
bargain. Sorry to cut you. You might find a good bargain. So you do have to act sometimes fast in a way, but still not too fast because
I
it
want to give
might.
so another website of mine has the other story. It was undervalued, really undervalued. Same traffic of that first website,
Yeah.
but the price was 10 times lower. So something crazy.
Yeah.
So I knew there's something to do there. And at that time, I just went with the seller. You probably basically you want to take the list off the listing of the website as fast as possible and start the negotiation
Uh-huh.
process. And
Uh-huh.
this is what happened. And I managed to, but that was still a bidding process. But anyway, I managed to get that website because I knew that there is a lot of potential there. So here's another learning here. Okay, you need that balance. You need that
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
digging.
Yeah.
You'll find those gems. You'll find good things, and you'll get better at this. You'll get better at this. It's not going to be, but you have to keep that mindset. I'm still learning. I'm improving. The next deal will be better. The next deal will be better.
Fine. Any
That's the
other
idea.
mistakes maybe that you see? Maybe like technical mistakes where people are, I don't know.
Sometimes, so when you're getting a website, you have to look at least two things. You want
Mhm.
to get access to their Google Analytics or GA4. And if somebody
Uh-huh.
tells you, yeah, give me an offer and then I'll give you access, just leave, just go away. It's very acceptable at the market to ask for these kind of things. The next thing is a P&L sheet. How much it lost, how much it profits, broken by months. And then you can start asking questions about the deal. And the third thing is GSC access, Google Search Console. So you actually see the performance of the keywords. Now, the mistake here is not asking for those. Okay, people sometimes just skip one of those. And these are very important. I'm not looking at the deal without seeing these three. They're really, really important. From there, you can find the link profile, which is very important for the website. You see the traffic trend. If there was a downtrend and then back and uptrend, what exactly happened at the downtrend? Why? If there was an uptrend, what's the thing that the previous or the current one has made to go back on an uptrend? So you can learn of what to do next and what are the risks when you're buying that business.
Interesting, man. Thank you for the insights. Okay, so we talked about like some mistakes, like or what to look at as well. You shared your story, of buying sometimes something undervalued or overvalued, right? So, but where do we buy them? Like the next question is, from your experience, what are the best places or platforms to find deals for SaaS or for content websites? You mentioned Flippa. I think we mentioned Empire Flippers today, but where else?
Yeah.
Like, do we Google that? Do we just go to groups?
So there are three ways to buy websites these days. One is on platforms, and I'll tell more about them. The other one is on private Facebook groups. And the third one is just private deals. So, the third one is over time. Once people know that you're looking for businesses, they'll start approaching you, or somebody from the community that you're at. They'll approach you, have this business, and then you start evaluating, which of course are the best deals because they're not they're off market. But it's not that on marketplaces and on Facebook groups there aren't deals. There are good deals. So you can go there. It's a different competition. There are more and more marketplaces with different flavors. I'm saying marketplaces and brokers with flavors and different budgets and ways that they verify the information on their website. So each one is a little different. I mentioned Flippa, which basically has very little verification over the data. It's getting better, but it's not there yet. Versus Empire Flippers, which is at the other side, which are doing a very good job at verifying. You still need to do your due diligence on the business, but you're at a better stance. However, businesses there are much more expensive. Flippa are lower pricing, so you are paying a premium for that safety and getting the security in buying that business. Empire Flippers and Flippa are not that strong with SaaS. They're more of content websites and other digital assets. For SaaS, you have acquire.com, you have Microns.io. So and there are many others. Okay, there are many others. I have a list. I have a resource page of about I think 25 different marketplaces and Facebook group where you can find those deals. So all these it depends what you're looking for. If you're really starting and you have the budget, I would go with Empire Flippers, knowing that you're paying a premium, but you'll be more safe in buying that. If you're more on the lower end, then go with the deal, which just a couple of thousands and maybe on Flippa. Yes, you need to do more work, but you haven't risked so much of your money. So that's another option to start with. Also with Flippa, you find better, let's call them gems or undervalued assets. So the one that I mentioned before was on Flippa. The first one was on Empire Flippers, because the more pro investors are on Empire Flippers, people who just, build a blog for the past 10 years and they just got tired of it. These are the kind of assets that you want to find. Something that was built out of passion, somebody just moved on in his life. And these are stuff that you find on Flippa. And sometimes on private deals as well.
Pretty cool, man. All right. So these are the websites that you mentioned. Where do we get that list of the resources? Is this part of your email list?
It's not part of my email list. I have a Gumroad product. It's a free one. I can add the link as well. No problem.
Okay, there is
the list of all the marketplaces, and we update it from time to time. But I think for now it's pretty updated. Yeah.
So I have it in the description for our viewers as well. Again, your YouTube channel, by the way, which you didn't mention, you have one, and then also your newsletter and like LinkedIn or something. So people want to personally get consulting from you. If they want to buy a business, you can guide them, give them directions and help them to have a good one, right? Because you have experience All right, man. So the next one I have to use like, so how does the process of buying an established online business differ from starting one from scratch, like in terms of cost and effort?
Good question. I'd say now that I've bought a few businesses, you're really saving a lot of time with versus building from scratch. I'd say you're saving probably 6 to 18 months of work when you're buying an
Ooh,
online business. You have a business that is already working, has
yeah.
traffic,
Yep.
has
Yep.
cash flow. You can build on top of that. So going from 0 to 1
Yes.
is much harder than going from 1 to 10.
I
That's
agree.
where that is. That's where that is. Now, it's not that I'm not building new businesses or new websites, just much less. So I just started about a month and a half ago a platform for finding ATMs with no fees. I was traveling, and
Wow.
there isn't a website that puts everything together. So I saw that gap in the market, and I'm going with that. It's a new website, it's a new domain, it takes
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
There are barely any rankings. It will take time. I know that, but just
Mhm.
because I saw there is a real gap there in the market. But really, I would go with buying. It's so much easier, really.
Yeah, I understand. I never bought a business. Like I only created a few and I never sold a business. So I'm still building the ones that I've created, like the Amazon business for about 7 years and the Buddhist
Mm-hmm.
content network for about five. But also here's a little tip from myself. My content, websites and YouTube are under my name. So that's like personal brand, which does give it some power. The problem, I cannot sell it really. I mean, technically I can maybe, but it's way more difficult probably because it's all under my name and probably would be harder to sell. So probably what I would say is a little, of course, for those who see themselves in that for years, that's a question I asked myself in the beginning. Do I want to do that for like 10, 20, maybe until I die? I was like, probably yes. So I was like, okay, I can do it. But maybe instead of doing it under your own
Talking about
name,
passion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So but still, I might get tired at some days, so then I cannot really sell it, which kind of sucks. Or maybe there are some ways to go around it. But if I were to call my Amazon FBA, it's under my name.com, vovaevan.com. But let's say if it would be like, FBA gameplan.com, right? FBA is Amazon. So
Yeah.
like FBA, and that would be sellable, like no name connected to it. So that's my little tip. If you start some business, of course, if you want to be a personal brand, it's amazing and all that. But selling it, yeah, it's quite
There are
hard.
there are examples of selling personal brands
Yeah.
and turning them into a global brand, like no, not faceless, but kind of, it's not relies on one person. There is a
Mm.
guy, his name is Ollie Richards. He's selling language courses. He's done a very good, it's a $10 million business. Great guy, follow him. But he's done a very good job at rebranding from his face into a business, a big
There you go.
business,
There you
which is
go.
not relies about him. And now he's working, I don't know, like 4 hours a month or something like that, because he's like all the processes are there. He built that.
Yeah.
He basically does 4 or 5 YouTube videos going every week. That's his thing. And there are many other examples that people did
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
don't be scared.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
possible.
Good, good. I'm happy to hear that. So, okay, let's go to the next one. So, how do you determine a fair price for an online business when negotiating a deal? Let's say, you found it somewhere, you start negotiating a deal. Like, how do you determine what's a fair price? Yeah, fair price. Yeah, I'll show like that.
It depends not on two things. It boils down to the multiplier of the profits.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I value a business. And then there's of course the multiplier that the seller is asking. And after
Mm-hmm.
you're going through all the due diligence, you can propose your own multiplier. And I'll give an example in a sec. But
Mm-hmm.
it also related to the multiplier in the market right now.
Mm.
Let's start with the example. So let's say a website that made $1,000 a month cash flow is sold at a 30x, $30,000. Okay. Nowadays, because of AI, because of Google updates, many websites have gone down. Average is about 25 to 30, 30 and a little bit at multiplier. Okay. Versus previously where it was the average was 35, so 30 to 45 multiplier. And it's not that there aren't extremes, okay, very low or very high, but that's kind of the middle ground there. That's what I mean. So basically, you need to evaluate all these and come with a proposal to the seller. Now, going back to the example of the first website I bought, I just said yes, and I bought it. I negotiated very little on, because I saw in the P&L that the hosting plan that they were paying for some reason was higher than what I found on the same host. So it made a difference of around $200 on the, nothing serious. So I didn't really negotiate at the time. Yeah. But I'd say, and that was at a multiplier of, I think it was 37 back then. Mm-hmm. Now, if things are the same for my websites 3 years afterwards at this current market price, it's not 37 right now, regardless. I mean, all things being equal, okay? It's not 37. The multipliers are down. On the other hand, perhaps those 3 years, you manage to increase the revenue of the website, the profits of the website. Mm-hmm. So let's say it will be a multiplier of 32, but instead of that 1,000, it will be 1,500. So that's the game there.
Interesting, man. Okay, let's say you're saying the market is down a bit right now. We're by the way, now in the end of 2023. So how do we know that? Like, do we look at websites? What's the multiplier? Do we talk to people in groups? Of course, we can go to a consultant like yourself who can say like, hey, I'm in things, I'm following. But can you tell us what you're following to understand what's the multiplier, if you may share? I mean,
it's mainly communities that I'm in. It's people who are selling and buying like me and talking about the downtrend. You need to be in the know with that in order to find out what's the fair price for that. It's not impossible to find out. I mean, a little bit of Google research, you'll find out what's going on. Okay, but you need to put in the time to go in and find out what's a fair price instead of 40x. Go ahead.
Okay, fair enough.
One more point about the multipliers, though, that sometimes you would be willing to pay a higher multiplier if you are buying that business strategically. You really want that business because it fits another business of yours. So you're saying, for me, it's worth more.
Yes.
I would buy that because I can make much more than that 40x. I don't mind. That's okay. So this is kind of an off example of what I said because of different reasons.
Pretty cool, man. All right, so that's kind of talking about the price. So next one is like, what is the most significant challenge you have faced when investing in online business, and how did you overcome it? Like, what's the challenge, and how did you overcome it?
I'd say 2 challenges. I think you need to find out what you're good at with this business. Yes, you can run a business by yourself. I found out that once I'm very good at finding the deals, and then with the operational side, I can do it. I'm good at this, but there are probably people who are much better than me on that. So my strategy is bringing a partner to these kind of websites afterwards, or either while in the deal, and sometimes even being a passive investor. So I would bring in the money, would get 50% of the website and move on. That's another way to do it. Another challenge is the traffic fluctuations. So going through Google updates and diversifying traffic, that's a big one, especially the last 6 months or so. There are a lot of Google updates. Unfortunately, my websites have fallen. That's part of the game, and then you learn how to improve that and how to go back on your feet and move on. So that's definitely a challenge. So you need to know that when you're going to this business, it's not impossible to handle. But like every business, it changes over time. I want to say something about the time investments with businesses like that. When you're looking at listings, it would say many times 1 to 2 hours a week time investment with that. When you are at the buying process, when you're actually buying it at the beginning, it won't be that time. It'll be much more because you have this strategic planning and you're putting all the efforts in there. It could be more. It might not be a full-time job. It's okay. And your time is with your time, okay? You're an entrepreneur here, you're not working for someone. But you need to know that over time, you can get all the processes going and the website on a maintenance mode and getting to a few hours a week managing the website and going on either for another deal or just enjoy your time. It is possible. You need to know what you're going into when you're buying a business. You probably have a harder time with that 1-2 hours a week that you're seeing.
Yeah, that now brings me to the next question. We talked about some, but can you share one of your most memorable deals in buying an online business and the lessons you learned from it? I mean, you shared some, but maybe you can even go back to them or whatever you feel like. Please share one of your most memorable deals and the lessons you've learned from it.
I would go back to that website. It's a quotes platform, okay? And I found out that same traffic, I mentioned it, same traffic of the first website I bought for 10 times less the price. It was like, wow, there are crazy deals out there. And, you need to go and sift through and find those. And I had all these plans for that website, and there still are, okay? We're still in the process of understanding. Not everything works the same way we thought, okay?
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
But what you can do with that and where you can take that, it's a platform of people adding their own quotes to the website. It's called ownquotes.com. So it's not famous quotes. It's basically people with their own quotes.
Wow.
And there are gazillions things you can do with that. An email list, print on demand, NFT, turning those to NFTs, selling on Amazon, affiliate for related products.
Wow.
The sky's the limit there. Wow, that was like, I should really insist on buying that. I really pushed that deal because I understood the potential. And that was really exciting once I got it. It was, okay, yeah, I'm getting it. It's there. I'm getting it. And I mentioned before that I'm better with working with partners. So I brought a partner who is an expert in SEO because I know that it's not my core competence with this. So basically he's dealing with that and I'm dealing with the operations, and it works great. It was still hit with that last Google update. However, first of all, it was very undervalued when we bought it. And the second thing, I have a huge confidence on that website and what's going to happen with it. There are 250,000 quotes in there. There's a lot to do with there. That's the potential right there.
Nice, man. Pretty cool. Another question, if that's cool. For those who are watching and they're starting, they want to do their first investment in an online business, what advice would you give to someone like that? They're considering investing in online business, they want to create another cash flow machine for them, or they just want to try buying a business, get into this world too. I think maybe one of the key things here, you are buying something that's ready. You don't need to start from scratch. So that's maybe why it's interesting for people. I think that's a skill I would love to learn. Because I've been a builder for a while, and that's fun. But maybe I want to become more of an investor with time. So what advice would you give to someone like me or someone else listening that would love to invest in their first one?
For starter websites or starting with this, if you have the money, I would go with businesses up to $10,000. They're not huge, but they're not tiny, small starter websites where you still need to work a lot. You're already seeing cash flow from them. So with that price range, it will be around $300 a month. So you got this $300 to reinvest in the business. Maybe to pay a little bit for yourself, very little, but you're still seeing something, okay?
Yes,
you're still seeing something, okay?
Yes.
So that's kind of a sweet spot to start with and then grow that one. It might not be the best business for you to buy. You might probably grow for larger businesses, but it's a good for starting operating one and learning about it and learning about the process and then grow from there for the next one. But also feeling, I'm not having a website and that making zero. I have something very easy to measure. If you made 300 and 2 months later you made 350.
Yeah.
Something happened there. So you can measure your success very easily to that extent. So that's kind of my advice and the sweet spots to go in there. If you don't have the budget for that, smaller ones are also okay. The website that I just mentioned, the one that was very exciting for me, was much less than 10,000. Yes, you can find these kind of deals. Okay, there are deals out there that's still worth looking, even if it's less than that 10,000. Just that easier to find at that price range, something that will make the money.
I understand. All right, man. Pretty cool. So I'm going to remind the viewers, listeners, we have your contacts in the description. We have your email list. we have your YouTube channel where people can watch a lot of videos about this topic of buying digital assets.
And
Also your
resource
link
page.
and the research, yeah, the Gumroad as well, where they can
Yeah.
get for free this list of websites and places where people can buy basically an online business, right? Yeah. So basically, maybe just one last thing you want to say to the world, man, before we wrap it up, like just a message to send it to the web and let it, just fly there, hopefully for the years to come.
I think that digital assets are something that not enough people are aware of. And it's an amazing, amazing industry. Think about all these real estate investors going and buying all these and making, I don't know, 5% cash flow, 7% cash flow, 2% cash flow, and think about making 25 or 30% cash flow. With the risks, it's a different thing, okay?
Yeah.
But you don't hold a business. It's very flexible. You can build a portfolio of those websites or those digital assets in general. So it's really something I recommend at least looking into and see if you're a good fits you and if it excites you. And of course, if you're finding something which you're passionate about and you bought it, that's amazing. Just jump in the water.
Thank you, Shlomo, man. Thank you for the insights today. Well, I still haven't, as I said, ever bought a business or sold a business, but buying one is interesting. After learning like what you mentioned, it doesn't sound too complicated, although it does sound that you need to invest time into doing it right because it's an investment. Even if it's a small one, every dollar counts, right? But also, I would say that digital assets have changed my life, as a builder of them right now. I have some shops on Amazon. I have a few blogs, YouTube channels, and they work when I sleep and they generate money. And that's crazy, man. It's like, take me back 10 years ago, but it's there and it's not going to go away probably, right?
Boba, think about it, that all these channels or these digital assets that you bought, they're now worth that 20, 30, 40x of their cash flow. So you can probably sell that, get a lump sum, and go for your next investment.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly. You can sell them as well.
That's this is how you grow.
Buy to sell. Yeah, you're buying a business that someone bought, and then you just continue, and you sell it for more, and then you either, if you love it, you keep it or whatever. But but you don't need to build it from scratch. That's also one of my key takeaways here. Like building from scratch is it's fun and all that, but it can be tiring. It can be frustrating sometimes. You're waiting for first freaking views on your content on Google or something, or even YouTube videos. You're like, of course, at some point it comes, but here, boom, you just pay and after you you got the asset, it's yours and you're all right, man. Awesome. So again, I'll remind your contacts are in the description, email list, YouTube channel, the special list of those who are looking of places where to buy assets. It's there free, and your LinkedIn or something. So people can talk to you directly. You can help them buy an online asset. Like you can guide them through we talk about some things, but it goes deeper. So that's how you can help. And so for those who are watching, if you need Shlomo's help, it's in the description. Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Thank you, Boba.
Yeah. Good way to start the day here in India. So why not?
Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.